Tell me if you knew this, because I, however, did not even have a clue until I started researching the latest Dr. Fauci segment that I did a couple of days ago. Barack Obama paused risky virus research in 2014. So why did the U.S. continue to fund work in the Wuhan Institute, also known as WIV? Because this argument sits at the center of the COVID accountability debate. If we confuse a limited research pause with defunding an entire laboratory, we cannot honestly judge Obama, Fauci, Trump, NIH, better known as the National Institute of Health or EcoHealth Alliance, all of which had some hand in the story I'm about to tell you. The archived White House record is clear on this. On October 7, 2014, the Obama administration announced a pause on federal funding for certain gain-of-function experiments involving influenza, SARS, MERS virus, and specifically work reasonably anticipated to increase pathogenic or respiratory transmissibility in mammals. The policy did not say defund the Wuhan Institute. It did not pause every coronavirus experiment, and the NIH grant at the center of the controversy had already been awarded to EcoHealth Alliance on May 27, 2014. Now, according to the GAO, which is the Government Accountability Office, EcoHealth subaward to Wuhan began in June, months before the October pause. NIH later reviewed the proposed research and decided it did not fall within the pause. So the funding continued to the Wuhan Institute. Now, this part wasn't sure to include, but now I am. The real question is, did Obama administration create a sensible pause that excluded work at reasonable considered lower risk? Or did officials use definitions so narrow, the potential dangerous experiment, so it would escape the review? The record proves funding path. It does not by itself settle the scientific judgment on what should have happened. Hindsight being 2020, we already know what should have happened. Now, the pause applied to new federal funding for a defined subset of experiments, including influenza, SARS, MERS. The White House said the targeted work had to be reasonably anticipated and to enhance a virus' ability to cause disease or spread through the respiratory route in mammals. Characterizing naturally occurring viruses was not automatically covered. Current researchers were encouraged to pause voluntarily while the government evaluated risks and potential benefits. Now, we all know what happened. The U.S. funded these experiments overseas. It got out and damn near shut down the entire world and killed many loved ones. Let's just be honest about what really happened here. The grant was not written directly to WIV. NIH awarded the RO1A to the EcoHealth Alliance, a U.S. nonprofit. EcoHealth then issued a subaward to WIV to perform part of the research. Saying NIH never directly awarded WIV is technically important. Saying no U.S. money reached WIV would absolutely be false. A subaward is still taxpayer money that supported the research of the coronavirus. So do you remember the GAO, the Government of Accountability Office, that I spoke about earlier? Well, they reported that the NIDAD, which is a National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, re-examined the research and told EcoHealth in July 2016 that it was not subject to the pause. Officials said the proposed chimeric virus used spike genes from phylogenetically distant bat coronaviruses. Similarly published viruses had shown reduced phylogenicity, and the agency did not anticipate enhanced mammalian respiratory transmission or pathogenicity. NIH added a reporting condition as a precaution. Basically, you can breathe it in easily and still be infected. I know that was a lot to describe. It was hard for me to say, but I had to give you all the information. The Obama administration said some enhancement experiments were risky enough to stop while policy was reviewed, yet federally supported coronavirus work involving WIV continued because NIH concluded it fell outside the definition. Basically, we're playing word games. The administration did not defund WIV. It drew a line, and this project remained on the funded side of that line. I bet you they wish they had stopped the funding now, but we will never know. Now, I have to tell you that HSS Inspector General later found that the NIH and EcoHealth did not effectively monitor the rewards and the subawards. A required progress report was almost 2 years, you count them, 2 years late. NIH did not follow up promptly. When the report was finally reviewed, NIH concluded that an experiment had produced growth meeting a benchmark that should have been or should have triggered immediate notification. The watchdog called this missed opportunities for stronger oversight. So basically, some of our most intelligent scientists dropped the damn ball. Now, these findings are serious, but keep the boundary clear. HSS OIG, Office of Inspector General, said its audit was not designed to determine whether the research caused COVID-19. It did not resolve the origin of SARS-CoV-2. It also did not independently decide every scientific dispute over whether the experiment should have called gain of function weak oversight, nor was it ever established. The pandemic causation is not established by that audit, supposedly, but you can put it together and it makes sense. In April 2020, during the Trump's first administration, NIH terminated EcoHealth's grant, and after public controversy over the Wuhan funding, the Inspector General later said NIH's termination procedure was improper. The award was reinstated and suspended while NIH demanded additional records. In 2024, HSS suspended EcoHealth and began debarment proceedings, basically getting rid of them. In January 2025, EcoHealth and its president, Peter Daszak, were formally debarred. Trump then went further than that. Did you know that on May 5th, 2025, just last year, he signed an executive order directing the government to end federal funding for dangerous gain of function research in countries of concern, including China, and to pause certain U.S. research while stronger rules were developed. That policy is broader, more institutionally restrictive than Obama's 2014 pause. Whether it is better science policy is a separate debate, but the difference is the real scope. I also found no verified public record showing Obama personally defending the Wuhan Institute as an institution. His White House defended the potential benefits of life sciences research while saving the risks of certain experiments required a pause and public review. That is not the same as Obama announcing, "I stand behind WIV, the Wuhan Institute." One would need to criticize the policy actually documented, not the quotation that has not been found or ever been said. Here is the accurate conclusion that everyone should know. Obama did not defund the Wuhan Institute. His administration paused new funding for a limited category of higher risk experiments. The EcoHealth grant and the WIV subaward began before that pause, and the NIH later decided the work was outside its scope, so it kept getting paid. The U.S. taxpayers' money therefore continued reaching the WIV indirectly. Later, watchdogs documented real oversight failures, which they should have. Those facts justify scrutiny, but they do not prove that the Obama administration created COVID, that WIV caused the pandemic, or that every disputed experiment had the same risk. But it does prove many agencies dropped the ball, or maybe they didn't and wanted a real world test. Now watch my episode, Fauci Pleaded the Fifth After Being Pardoned. What was he protecting? It explains why the Wuhan funding dispute returned to Congress and what Fauci's silence does or does not prove. Click the video now. This is Money and Politics Simplified, and I'm Esco Latimer. Stay informed, stay engaged, because when you understand the money and who funded the Wuhan Institute, then, my friends, you understand politics. Have a good day.